Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jamila and I love all things beauty, and today we're going to be doing a quick get ready with me using some of the products that I picked up during the Sephora VIB sale. If this is your first time watching me, welcome. I love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you consider subscribing and joining the fam. Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm testing these Sephora products before the, what is that timeline? The sort of return period ends. So that's my plan today. And you know what? Before I sat down to film, I was going through the products that I picked up and I realized it wasn't a lot of makeup. So I'm kind of proud of myself that I did not buy a lot of makeup, but also confused as to how I am rouge again because I definitely spent like $600. So make it make sense. I don't know what I bought, but I bought some things. So for today's video, we're going to go through that. Now, I do have one non-Sephora VIB sale product, but we just pretend that is not there. I will, of course, have everything linked down below if you are interested in picking any of these things up. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in because I just want to, I go into Target and I'm trying to like be in and out quick. I'm not trying to get super dolled up to go to Target, if you know what I mean. So first things first, I did pick up one of the lip oils from Rare Beauty. This had been making its rounds on the TikToks. I sound like an old lady when I say the TikToks. You know when your like parents are like the Instagrams and the Facebooks and they add the D? That's me. I am a grandma. So I picked up the lip oil in the shade Serenity. I wanted a couple, but you know the reality is just because it's TikTok famous does not mean I need to buy it. So instead of me buying a bunch of shades and not knowing if I like the formula, I just picked up one. So like I said, this is the shade Serenity. And this is a lip oil / lip stain. It doesn't explicitly say that it's a lip stain, but everyone I've seen, it stained their lips. So if you are concerned about that, that's just something you should know. Now, I like to go in with a lip oil when I start applying my makeup, just so my lips are hydrated by the time the end reaches. So I'm just going to apply this to the lip. So this is the shade. And I'm just going in, no lip liner, nothing, just applying this directly to the lip. And I will let this sort of sit on the lips while I do the rest of my face. And we'll see what it looks like by the time I'm done. Is this the most hydrating feeling? No. I don't know if I like the texture of this. Yeah, I don't know if I like the texture of this. Is that minty? Okay. The color is cute though. I don't think it will stain this exact color, but I think that this kind of like faded out would be a nice, cute, sort of everyday lip stain color for me. So I'm not mad at the color of this. I actually think that this is really nice for my complexion. So we're going to go ahead, go with it. I didn't apply too much, and so far it seems to be just kind of like sitting on the lips pretty nicely. Okay, for the eyes, I'm going to cheat a little bit. So I'm going to go in with the Sublime Smoke palette from Pat McGrath. This is the mini, but I actually want to pair that with one of the single Chromolux shades. This was a part of her Star Wars release that was a hot mess. So this is actually the red shade. I picked this up, I believe, directly from the Pat McGrath website. I don't think I got this from Sephora. And that's partly because when the Sephora sale came around, they decided that all of their Pat McGrath products that were on sale, they were going to put them back at full price, which I just thought was shady. That was so shady. I was like, we see you, Sephora. So that's what they did. And I just thought it was not the nicest move on them. So what I want to do really, because this is a very, very pigmented red shade, it's kind of like a cream shadow. Let me swatch it for you guys. Beautiful. So I just kind of want to like put that for the most part all over the lid and then blend it out with the mattes in that palette. Actually, I might add a little bit of, no, I changed my mind. I'm going to go in with this, but I also want to go in with a little bit of the gold from that Pat McGrath palette because I think those two colors are going to mesh really nicely together. This just got like twice as complicated as I wanted it to be, but I still want to finish this really quickly. So we'll see how quick I can do this look. And if you've been watching me, you know every time I say I'm doing a quick look, it never turns out that way, but we are going to challenge ourselves today. So first things first, I'm going to go in with the light brown shade. That is going to be the transition shade for today's look. So I'm just going to go and directly apply that into the crease. Now this palette is definitely on the smokier side of things in terms of neutral palettes. Even the matte shades here tend to lean a little bit deep, as you can see from me applying it to my skin tone. So if you are lighter than me, it's gonna give you pretty smoky outlook from the beginning, but Pat's matte shades tend to blend out like a dream, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. And I do think that this could be a quick look because Pat's shadows, they blend themselves for the most part, and because they're so easy to work with, I don't need to spend all day blending. Ain't nobody got time for that. And then I'm gonna go into this deep chocolate brown shade. That's gonna be my outer V color. There is a darker, smokier shade in there, but I'm hoping to not have to go in with that and that this is gonna give me all of the depth that I need. This Rare Beauty gloss, I don't know if it's getting redder or if it's just like, whatever it has in there is kind of tingly. Like, I didn't know this was a plumping gloss. Does it even say plumping gloss? You see, this is why it's important to read the instructions on the products that you are picking up and using. I tend to stay clear of plumping lip products. One, first and foremost, off the strength that as a black woman, I have pretty large lips anyway. So I don't need them to be any more plump. Jesus blessed me with that. So we good there. And two, for the most part, all I hear people do is complain about it and how painful it is. So why I want to put myself through that? It's not an uncomfortable tingle though. I just don't misunderstand me there. I am noticing some tingliness. Like, it kind of feels like mint. You know, like if you have toothpaste on your lips, that's what it feels like. But it's not uncomfortable. Okay. This is doing exactly what I want it to do and pretty quickly, so look at Jesus. Then I'm gonna go into the Chromolux shade. Again, this is in the shade Rouge Rebellion. And this was a new Pat product from Pat McGrath. Ooh, that's pretty. So I'm gonna apply that directly to the center of the lid. And I thought it was like a cream shadow, but honestly, it still has the texture, in my opinion, of a powder shadow. Like, it's not as creamy as I expected given sort of the format of this. It is a little hard for me to get my fingers in here to apply this to the lid because of my nails, so just something to think about. But I do think if I applied this with a brush, it would be super easy and simple. This is beautiful. I love this red shade. Wow. I really wanted to get the gold shade in this, but it sold out everywhere, including on Sephora and Pat's website. Did I need it? Absolutely not. Especially because it's a gold, and y'all know Patricia loves her golds, so. Okay, I'm gonna leave that where it's at for now, and then I'm gonna go into this shade. It is Bronze Blaze. Kind of like a coppery shade. So this is kind of the look that I'm going for, a bronzy ready look, and I'm putting that into the inner third of the eye. That's cute. That's super duper cute. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, blend this together, make sure it's like nice and, you know, applied perfectly and really seamless, and then I will come back and we'll get started on the rest of my face. Okay, so the eyes are pretty much done, and now to prime my face, I did pick up a couple of primers, and quite frankly, I'm not really sure what I want to do here, because I picked up the matte screen primer from Supergroup, which I'm like, well, matte sunscreen from Supergroup, which I'm wondering if I can use it as a primer. And I also picked up this blurring primer from Iconic London, which honestly, it was so beautiful when I swatched this. Oh my Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the matte screen first because I want to see what this texture is gonna be like. Okay. I don't know why I'm smelling this, like it's sunscreen. This has a very moussey texture. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Let me just put this on this half of my face first, and it's giving white cast. It's giving casket ready a little bit. Now this does have SPF 40 in it. I don't know how I feel about this yet, because my goal for this was to be able to wear this by itself. Do you guys, are you seeing the white cast, or is it just me? Okay, it's definitely giving more of a white cast than I would like it to. And given the texture of this, I think I'm just gonna stick with this, not apply anything additional on top of it, because I get a sense that this is going to pill. Now this does have 17.4% zinc oxide, so that explains this. Like, y'all, this is just ghetto. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go return this because we don't deserve this, y'all. We don't deserve this. I'm doing everything I can to rub this in. Is it matte? Yes. Is it white cast? Also yes. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and return this. Ain't nobody got time to be out here looking this ghostly, especially since I intended to use this by itself, and this is not doing what I needed to do. No ma'am. Okay, so I did not pick up any new foundations to try, so I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my Givenchy Prisme Libre foundation, but I did pick up a new foundation brush. This is the foundation brush from Rare Beauty. It has a sort of tapered edge to it, which is a little bit different. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray my brush. Then I'm gonna apply the foundation to my face. I'm just gonna do one half of my face at a time, and we'll see how it blends it out. I can't believe this sunscreen has me looking like this. Like, it's not as bad in person, but on camera, I look crazy. The good thing is that I will say that it's not pilling up with the foundation on top of it, so that's good. Okay, this brush, I like. Do you see how quickly this is just blending everything out? This is a nice brush. And I'm a sponge girl, you guys, so yes, ma'am. And a lot of times with foundation brushes, even when I feel like I got it like spread out really nicely, I oftentimes feel like I still need to go in with a sponge to press everything in. But I'm not getting that sense with this application. I feel like it's real seamless. Okay, just going over this side. Now I keep going back and forth on whether or not I should keep this sunscreen, because if I do wear makeup, no one's gonna know, right? You're not gonna know if I wear makeup because it's gonna cover it up. And given that it is summertime, it's about to be summertime, should I just keep it because it is, the texture you can see is quite mattifying. So it would be a really, really good matte sunscreen. And in some ways, it does blur and fill the pores, so it does act as a sunscreen and a primer. So maybe it's fine. Okay, this brush, 10 out of 10, and I've only used it once. Okay, now for concealer, I did go ahead and pick up a backup of my Sephora collection concealer in the shade 35N. I'm not gonna open the new one, so I'm just gonna use the one that I already have. So this is the shade 35N. I actually really like this shade because I think it does a really good job at being both a concealer for me and an eyeshadow base. This is actually what I use as my base for my eyes today, so just gonna go ahead and apply that. I'm not very precise with my concealer most of the time. Probably should be a little bit more precise, but yeah. And I think it's a nice shade, you know, like, Not too bright, not too yellow, not too neutral. It's a nice, very, very nice shade. So I'm gonna go in with the concealer brush from Rare Beauty. This is very similar to the foundation brush, as in it's the exact same shape. It's literally the baby of the foundation brush. So you have the foundation brush and then you have the concealer brush. You can see pretty much the same brush, just one is much smaller. And I liked this one because of like this shape here, I think is just perfect. Let me, you see how it gets into that crevice right there? And I know one of you guys said that you have like 3 of these, and I understand why. This is the perfect shape. Probably should have bought more, but you know, I just needed to test it out first before I commit. And let me just say, already happy. The bristles in this are just as soft as the foundation brush bristles. I think that this is applying really well. I think it's blending really well. What I think I'm most impressed by is how quickly both this and the foundation brush blended everything out. Like, I feel like it's wham bam, thank you ma'am, not taking super long to do anything. I'm gonna need another one of these because I think that this is like, if I get another one, I can use that to like contour my nose. Well, now I think that this is good for the under eye area, again, because of the shape, but it is definitely taking a little bit longer to blend out like my forehead because it's just a bigger surface area, but that's fine. I might no longer be a sponge girl, y'all. Okay, face is giving everything. Okay, I am happy with that. Let me go ahead and set my concealer really quickly. I didn't get a new powder, yay me. I'm just going in with my Derma Blend setting powder. This is in the shade, not saffron, cool beige. And it is more of a neutral powder than some of the more yellow banana type powders, but I love this shade for me. Okay, now to set the full face. So I did pick up several of the Sephora Micro Smooth powders, and I'm not sure which one I want to go in with. So I have the shade 56 Deep, and I have the shade 60 Ebony. I think I'm gonna do Ebony. Let me open this one up. Okay, I think this will work. So this is the shade Ebony. I think 56 is my winter shade, but now that we are approaching summer, it is like a hair too light in my opinion. And I mean like a hair, because these 3 shades together are so close, so very close. But I think that this, yeah, this works. So I'm just using it to set my full face. Now I have to be, they're close, but I have to be careful with this because this is technically a powder foundation. I do think that it is lightweight in terms of the amount of like coverage you get, but because it is a powder foundation, those minute differences matter, right? But yeah, this whole face is giving me life. And I'm just going to Target. This is just ghetto. You know when you have your best face days and you have nowhere to go, or you're going to the most mundane places? The fact that I am just going to Target, I'm a little annoyed. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my Dior bronzer. I did pick up a backup of this during the VIB sale. So because of that, I'm just gonna use the one that I already have for today's face. I'm trying kind of to pan this so that I can just start the new one. And this is, I believe, I'm saying I believe, but yeah, this is definitely my favorite bronzer. Especially my favorite luxury bronzer. It's my favorite bronzer overall. It's my favorite luxury bronzer. I just think that the color of this is perfect. It's not too red. It's not too neutral. It's very, very natural, which is Dior's whole aesthetic. It doesn't give you that super glam, like overly done look, which I appreciate. So yeah, like you see, it's a really natural bronze. It looks like this is just how I look. Like I just live on a beach. I'm not trying to pretend that I live on a beach. So Jesus. And given that Dior rarely goes on sale, I felt like this was a good time to buy it. But you know what I forgot? I forgot that Dior is now sold at Ulta. So I could have just waited until I got 20% off coupon at Ulta. But, you know, I forgot, y'all. So, no, it don't even matter about, like, the Sephora VIB sale. Because once you get a 20% off coupon from Ulta, you can get some of these high-end products. Before we go into blush, I just wanted to show you guys the lip, which has faded a little bit. Like, you know, I kind of licked off some of it. So there is some staining. Is it even? Not really, but it's nice. It's like a natural flush to the lip. I'm not mad at this. I was a little bit before. No, not anymore. I think it's cute. Okay, blush. So I actually picked up one of the Haus Labs blushes. This is in the shade Watermelon Bliss. Here's the thing. When I was in store and I swatched these blushes, I don't know about y'all, but it looked real dusty. I feel like I was swatching and I was like, is it just me? Because I see so many people rave about these that are my complexion, and I see so many of these, and they look so pigmented, right? They look super duper pigmented, and I'm just like, okay, maybe it's just me. So I was like, let me get the kind of orangey one to try, and I think it's called Peach Pomelo. But I swatched it, and baby, it was kind of ashy looking. So I decided to go ahead and pick up Watermelon Bliss, because when I swatched this one, I felt like it had the nicest pigment for like my complexion. And in addition to picking up the blush, I did pick up a blush brush from Sephora. This is from the Sephora Collection brand. So it is the sort of angled brush, and I really like those types of brushes. So this is what that brush looks like. You have that angle here. I actually have one from Morphe that is a very similar shape. It's a little bit bigger in terms of how it flares out, but I feel like this one will spread a little bit. But this is essentially the shape of the brush heads that I like for blush. They look very similar, don't they, right? Even the bristles look the same, but we're not gonna go there. So again, this is the Watermelon Bliss blush from Haus Labs. That is a tongue twister, so it's really pretty. Ooh, ooh. Okay, let's be real gentle, because we don't want clown face. Okay. Oh, that's pretty. Now this is applying nice. It's not patchy or anything. It is very pigmented though. So maybe the other ones would have worked on me. Oh no. I just felt like when I swatched it, it felt like really ashy. But, I mean, it's blush, right? You just never know until I guess you apply it onto the face. Okay. I'm gonna stop here for the most part because you can already see that this is very bright. And we're not going for clown. So I'm just gonna buff this in on both sides so it looks a little bit less stock than it does now. But this is pretty. Okay, before we go into highlight next, I do want to go back to the waterline just to finish up this look. So I'm going to go back into the Pat McGrath Quad. I actually think I'm going to go ahead and take the deepest shade. This is called Extreme Mahogany. It looks black, but it's actually more of like a deep, cool toned brown than a black. And I'm just going to sweep that into the outer half of the eye here. And then I'm just going to go into the bronze shade that we use for the inner part of the eye, and I'm going to sweep that into the inner half. And then lastly, I'm actually going to go into the light shade. This is the lightest. It's kind of like a satin shade. It's called Skin Show Divine Glow, and I'm going to use that as my inner corner highlight. Okay, now for highlight, I do have two Rare Beauty highlighters. I don't know if this is in any of my hauls so far because I actually had to buy one from Sephora and one from Sephora at Kohl's, and they both kind of came at different times. So I have two of the highlights. The first one that I have is the shade, what's this called? Mesmerize, which is the pink highlight. Oh, that's pretty. It's really pretty. And then the second one that I have is the shade Flaunt, which is the gold highlight. That's really pretty. Now for today's purposes, I'm just gonna apply both. I'm gonna apply one on one side, one on the other side, so you can see how both apply. So I'm gonna go in with Flaunt first. This is the gold shade, and I'm gonna apply it to the right side of my face. I should think about that for a second. I'm trying to be gentle because everything I've seen is that these are blinding, and that is quite true just from this little application here. Okay. And on the left side, I'm going to go in with Mesmerize, which is the pink highlight. Ooh, that definitely had more pickup from the jump. Okay. Wow, that's beautiful. I actually think I like this side more. Yeah, that is gorgeous. And I feel like this one buffed into the skin a lot easier than this one, which feels like it's still like just kind of sitting on top of the skin. Okie dokes. So lastly, I'm gonna take a little bit of that Flaunt shade, not Flaunt, sorry, Mesmerize shade. I'm gonna use that to highlight my brow bone. Okay, and surprise, surprise, I actually do have some lips to try for you guys. I picked up a bunch of these Sephora collection lips because I saw Glam Girl Chelsea's video and they looked so good on her. So I want to keep this real neutral because we're just, again, we just going to Target. We are not trying to be doing the most. So I'm going to take my Juvia's Place Cola liner and I'm going to use that to line my lip. And then we'll go in with the, I don't even know what the shade is called. It's called number 41, but it has a name to it. So I'll have to figure that out. Okay, now that I have the liner on, taking shade 41, which I will put down for you guys to see what it's actually called. And I will say, now that the Rare Beauty had a chance like sink into my lips while I was doing the rest of my face, my lips do feel pretty well hydrated for this lip, which is it's like a cream, but it does dry down to a matte finish. So I think that the Rare Beauty lip oils are like a good prep for like going in with like matte lips. Okay, I like this. Not too much, doing just enough. Let me quickly add some mascara. I'll come back, show you guys the final look, and yeah, we can talk a little bit about these products. Okay, I'm back and this is the final face. I really like how this turned out. I'm also very happy with how quickly I was able to pull this face together because I feel like it went fast. I feel like it went really fast, and I think part of that is because of the Rare Beauty brush, but we're gonna get into that. So let's quickly talk about the products that I'm wearing and how I feel about them right now, and this is very much a first impressions. So I'll let you guys know probably the end of May what were favorites, what stayed in my collection, and what I had to give back to Sephora. Starting with the first thing that I think is going back to Sephora. You know what? I'm saying I think, but honestly it needs to go back to Sephora. This is the matte screen sunscreen from Supergroup. y'all saw the white cast. I don't even need to go any further. Y'all saw the white cast. There's absolutely no reason for me to keep this if it's gonna make me look like Casper the Friendly Ghost, because I'm not ready to be casket ready. So we're just gonna send her back to the store. Now, I debated on this because I did like the matte finish that I gave. I felt like it almost added a little bit of a blurring effect, so it could act as a primer. But I could actually get that with the Unseen sunscreen, so I don't think I need this. And and the Unseen sunscreen also has an SPF of 40, so it's not like I'm getting any additional protection. So because I don't think it's worth it for me to keep this white cast. I'm pretty sure this was close to $40. I'm just gonna send it back because it definitely isn't worth it for me in that regard. So there's that. Now let's talk about the eyeshadow, and I'm trying to go in the order of how I applied it so that I don't forget anything. The Pat McGrath Sublime Smoke Palette. This baby is beautiful. Even though I didn't use all of the shades on camera, this is one that I have used before and I have been using because it's just such a really quick, easy go-to palette. You don't have to think about anything too much. The only thing is you're gonna get a brown smoky look. That's kind of what this is. It says so in the palette. Like, it is only a 6-pan, so just if you were expecting more, that's not what this is designed to be. Y'all see the size of this. This is a small itty bitty baby palette, but I like it. I think that this is perfect for travel. I do have a couple of trips that I plan on taking this with me, so I'm not mad at that. And it's the perfect same Pat McGrath quality that we're used to, which makes it even better. So I know it's gonna blend, I know it's gonna build. The mattes blend perfectly, and y'all know mattes make or break a palette for me. And it's really important for me to have good, easy blendable mattes because it makes the look go faster. And like I said, when I travel, I don't have the time and I don't want to spend more of my time applying makeup. I want to spend my time outside doing things. So I need palettes that I can do very quick looks with that still look pretty that I can wear. The next thing that I used in this look in terms of the eyes was the Rouge Rebellion Pot Chromolux palette from Pat McGrath. I thought that this was really nice. I actually kind of wish I just put it all over the lid because I do think it's a beautiful red shade, and given that I have sort of burgundy locks in my hair, I think it would have gone perfectly. So I actually plan on traveling with that too because I think it just pairs well with my little locks right now, so I'm really excited to keep playing in that one. And even though it is like this Chromolux palette, it felt like a regular powder eyeshadow. Like, it wasn't super creamy, so if you're worried about it creasing, it's not going to do that. Now, I don't think that you can get this anymore. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. But I know that a lot of the Chromolux shades have been sold out on both Pat McGrath and Sephora's website. But we'll see. We'll see if it comes back because y'all know limited edition is make-believe at this point when it comes to makeup. Let's talk about the Rare Beauty blushes because that's when I did my foundation, my base, right? Y'all, these are the holy grail products of today's entire looks. If I had to choose one thing out of everything that I tried today, this would be it. This foundation brush, y'all, when I tell you this thing blended like a dream and so quickly. I spent so much time using a sponge to apply my foundation, and this was like half that time. And I was like, wait, hold up now. You mean I don't need to be doing all that? Because I'm a sponge girl, because one thing about brushes versus sponges is I feel like sponges, you press it into the skin, you press the foundation into the skin to give you a more seamless application, versus brushes which can like move around the foundation and cause streaks. So sometimes when I go in with a foundation brush, I still then have to go in with a sponge to kind of like get rid of the streakiness. This, I didn't even have to reach for a sponge at all in either way. And the concealer brush is equally nice, especially because it gets into these little crevices here in the most perfect way. Like, it literally fits just like boop. So these are the holy grail products of today's look. I am definitely going to be looking out for more opportunities to probably pick up 1 or 2 more of those because chef's kiss. The next product that I went in with is definitely not like a new product by any means, but I did pick it up in the sale. Y'all saw me use the Dior bronzer. This is my favorite bronzer, just generally, both high-end and luxury and drugstore. This is my overall favorite bronzer. I think it is the most natural looking bronzer. I think it is the one that is the most perfect mix between being neutral and warm and not looking like I'm either sunburned or like too cool tone where it becomes a contour. I just think it's just like the perfect mix for my complexion. So love that. I had to pick up a backup of that because you saw in that one I hit pan. For blush, I went in with the House Labs blush. This is in the shade Watermelon Bliss. This is nice. It's definitely really pigmented. I did try to buff it out a little bit so it wouldn't look too crazy, but it's a nice blush. It wasn't patchy or anything like that. I thought it looked good. Oh, I had a blush brush. Where did that go? And I applied that with the Sephora Collection blush brush. Now, did I need this one? No, I do like this shape in blush brushes, but I will say that I could have probably gotten this somewhere else for cheaper. I do think that the original price of this is $30. So at 30% off probably was worth it, but I don't know if I would ever pick that up again. Plus I have way too much brushes, you guys. It's just like, I don't need no more brushes. I need to sit down somewhere. But yeah, I think that the blush is nice. Do I want to keep it as a question? Because I also am more of a fan of like blush palettes versus single blushes, because I like to mix my blushes. I like to mix a couple of shades together. Sometimes I like to create a little bit of a gradient with my blush using multiple shades. So the fact that this is just a single blush and it's a very bright pink single blush that's not going to go with every look. Did I need this? Probably not. And the new House Labs is expensive. Let's be real. It's like $30 something for this single blush. So I don't know if I'm going to keep it. Maybe, maybe not. Next thing, and I forgot to mention this when I was talking about my base, is I did use the Best Skin Ever concealer. This is a really beautiful concealer. Not too matte, not too creamy. I do experience a little bit of creasing when I use this, but I'm beginning to realize I'm starting to crease now, and I don't know what that means, because am I getting old? Is that a thing? Anyway, so, but I like this. I like how easy this blends. I like the color selection of this. This is in the shade 35N. I actually use this both as a concealer and as a primer for my lids. And it's just perfect, especially if you want to travel with just one thing. Because I don't want to have a primer, an eye primer, and a concealer. And this does double duty for me. Now, I do have it in other shades as well that I use as more brighter concealer. So I have it in 33.5Y. Which I use as a more yellow, brighter concealer. But overall, the formula for that I think is really good, and I think it would work well for like dry and oily skin types. It just depends on your preference. And I do think the coverage is definitely more medium to full coverage in terms of concealers. Then the Rare Beauty highlighters. These are actually really pretty. I think though that I like the shade Mesmerize more than I like Flaunt. I like how Flaunt swatches, but I like how Mesmerize applied onto the skin and how it melded into the skin a little bit better than the way in which Flaunt did. I just felt like Flaunt was a little too stark and a little too like streak across the face than Mesmerize, even with a little bit of buffing in it. Overall, beautiful formula. I do think it's kind of hard to mess up highlighters unless you just put straight up glitter in there and you can see the glitter particles. But I think that this is really nice. It definitely is for the folks that want a blinding highlight though, because even when you go in lightly, it's still gonna show. Like, this is me. I did go in a little bit heavy-handed, but even applied lightly, it's still gonna be very present, like reporting for duty. So just something to be mindful of, but I'm fine with it. And I didn't pay a lot for this because I think the original price of the highlighters are $20. I was able to use, fun fact, when I bought one of them at Kohl's in Sephora, they actually allowed me to use the 20% off plus my points. So I paid like $12 for one of them. So yay there. But with the 30% off, I think it was like $16, $18, $17, somewhere around there. So not terribly bad. And it's gonna last me for forever. I definitely don't need more highlighters, y'all. Not a single one, but whatever. And then finally for the lips, I used the cream lip stain from Sephora. I don't know the name of this. Let me see if I can find it. So this shade is actually called Vintage Rose. It's definitely like a deep, cool toned mauve-y kind of color. Definitely a little bit more vamp than like a neutral, but I think it's pretty. I think it's something that I could still wear every day. In terms of comfort, it definitely is matte. You can feel it. It's not like weightless on the lips, but it's not uncomfortable matte. I just don't know how long I'd be able to wear this for, because that's just me. I'm not like I'm gonna wear a matte lipstick all day kind of gal. Quite frankly, I'm about to put some of this Fenty gloss on top of it because I don't want this to like sink into my lines too much. So there, it's definitely more glossy now, but that's fine. I prefer gloss anyway. And yeah, overall I think it's a nice color. I think the formula Totally depends on you if you are able to handle a more matte dry formula. I personally don't love matte lipsticks, but I don't find this to be super uncomfortable. And I've worn that lipstick before already, and it was fine too. It wasn't like, it's not the most long wearing comfortable lipstick, but it was nice for what it was, for what it is. And I think that the original price of those are $15 with the discount. I think I paid like $10.50 each for those, and they're made in Italy. Super amazing formula. So yeah, I'm not mad at it. Anyways, we've been here for a minute and a half. So that's it. I'm about to go to Target, finish, you know, get what I need to get done. It's already 1 o'clock, so I'm getting a little bit of a late start to the day, but yeah, I have to come back, start packing, all that fun jazz. So yeah, thanks for hanging with me. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all these products. Let me know your thoughts on them down below, what you liked, didn't like, have you tried it, didn't try it. As I said, I'll keep you guys posted on whether or not all or any of these products stay, or if they go back to Sephora, which I think some of them will be doing. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you more than you know, and as always, I will catch you in my next one. Bye!